Yo, Joburg, everybody. Welcome to episode 233 of G.I. Joburg. My name is Steven, and today I'm joined by my usual suspects. It's Paul. Hey, Paulie.
Hey, everybody.
Bright and early. And, of course, Rob.
Good morning, everyone. Hello.
Or evening, or whenever you happen to be watching this. If you're not watching this live on YouTube, where you been? Because we are doing our first live broadcast of 2022, and what better way to ring in a new year of G.I. Joburg podcasts than with a very special guest. Guys, if you know us, there is absolutely no chance you don't know this gentleman. He goes by the name HOODED COBRA COMMANDER 788, but we know him as Brian, or Hoodie. Hello, Brian.
Hello. I'm here.
Excellent.
I know you're stuck with me. This was your idea, so now you just can't get rid of me. I'm here for the whole show.
Wouldn't have it any other way. How the hell are you doing, Bri? It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while, but I'm all right. We're getting back into the realm of doing okay. So I'm really happy to be back. It's really kind of nice to see and talk with everybody again. I really missed people.
The channel is going gangbusters, man. On top of the vintage toy reviews, and there've been quite a few to date already, you've added the classified series Fridays. You're doing comic reviews. You're doing your Tuesday live streams again. So, I mean, just blowing the barn doors off, bro. Impressive.
Thanks, and I hope people watch. I hope people enjoy it. But I have the time to do stuff now. So I'm trying to do what I enjoy and reconnect with people. I probably should have gotten back to at least doing the live streams a long time ago, because I really missed hanging out with people and just chatting and having those connections. I missed that a lot. So I get to do that now, and I'm just enjoying the hell out of it.
Particularly people like Mr. Ryan Sweeney, who throws us a $5 and says "Berg." Yeah, man, that gentleman is a stalwart of like all things Joe. Whether it's what's on Joe Mind, your channel, our channel. Ryan, thank you, my friend. It's always lovely to see you in the comments, in the chats, just interacting on social media. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's joining us on this little adventure. But first things first, I'm feeling a nostalgia buzz. Spidey sense tingling. You are doing a GoFundMe. And that takes me back, because once upon a time, we did the same thing. So
absolutely.
Let's open up with that. Brian, tell us about it, man.
Okay, so I feel it's time to get back to Joefest. If we can roll the clock back and look at history for a moment. We used to have JoeCon, the official G.I. Joe convention every year, that was discontinued because Hasbro wanted to do HasCon.
How's that working out for you, Hasbro?
Not the same thing. And they shut down BotCon too. So the Transformers fans kind of got the same deal. But JoeCon was just a beautiful time to get together with lots of fans of G.I. Joe, people who all loved this one thing and could get together and geek out and talk about it and just have tons of fun and form a lot of friendships, and that was beautiful. After JoeCon was discontinued, Ed Schumacher started doing the unofficial Joefest in Augusta, Georgia, and I went in 2019, and it was fantastic. It was a great time. I loved it. It was not exactly JoeCon, but a lot of those same friends who were from JoeCon went to Joefest, and it was like a big family reunion. It was great.
Some people told me after going to the most recent one, I think it was 2019, or was it last year? Anyways, that it has grown beyond JoeCon, at least in terms of the sales floor. It's like, you can't breathe. Good luck if you have to wear a face mask.
Yeah. Now, because of the pandemic, I wasn't able to make it after 2019, but I will say that in 2019, it was jam-packed.
Amazing.
And they had moved to a larger facility for from the one that they did the previous year. They like doubled the space, and it still wasn't enough. So
amazing.
Yeah, they were like they were planning for a lot of growth, and the growth even outstripped what they were planning. So, but it was, I mean, Larry Hama was there, Ron Rudat and his family was there, and given that it's relative close quarters, you get to really, literally, rub elbows with these people. It was really cool. So, yeah, it was a beautiful thing, and I miss it. And and I'm ready to go back. There have been some concerns about the pandemic. I believe, knock on wood, there is a way to do this safely and smartly. But I'm right now, at this point in my life, I'm all about reconnecting with people and seeing some friends that I've kind of neglected for a while and I miss very much. And I feel that it's time. And also, given where I am in life right now, the only way I can realistically do that is with help. So I went out on a limb and started a GoFundMe. It's not something I've ever done before, but
right. You are well within rights to do so, my friend. The amount of goodwill that you've built up alone. I mean, you are somewhat of a sort of central figure, nexus of the G.I. Joe online community. And the amount of work that you've done, like, you are prolific. Like, you are the port of call when it comes to G.I. Joe reviews on YouTube. I might even say online, because, there are plenty of reviews that exist in written format, but that requires a little bit too much work from Mr. Couch Potato over here. So, you unpack it, you script it, you shoot it, you present it to us, and all I got to do is turn on YouTube, and there you are. Not only that, but sketches too. So I'm going to say thank you to Gaz for the super chat. You're amazing. Berg, fist bump. But anyone else waiting in the wings wanting to throw a couple of bucks our way, rather scroll down to the description of this video or podcast, wherever you're listening, watching this thing right now, and check out his GoFundMe. Let's get Brian to Joefest, because that is a real treat for all the attendees. Come on, it's HOODED COBRA Commander 788. If nothing else, and it will benefit his channel in ways that benefited ours back in 2018.
And that's a great thing to talk about, though. 2018, the final JoeCon, when I actually got to meet you guys, which was a fantastic privilege for me. And you seemed like you had fun. Did you have fun?
Oh, absolutely, definitely a highlight for me of my life.
And we couldn't have done that trip without the generous help of folks out there.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And I did back
Perfect
down.
Strangers.
I did chip in. I did. And and I enjoyed just seeing you guys have fun. And you guys got recognized too. You guys had some fans, recognize you come up and chat. So that was really cool.
Which is crazy. I thought it was amazing. I didn't think we'd get recognized, but apparently we did. Even though I think people thought we were from Georgia, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember this. We were walking to the convention center, and we're just walking in the street, and somebody's like, "Hey, it's Joburg," stuff like that. That was so cool, and you're like, "Where?"
I honestly didn't think we were that notorious. I thought we were still quite niche, even amongst the Joe collecting community, but I was just rifling through like some like $5 figures, and I was asking some questions about this guy, that guy. Were they $2? I don't know. They were like the cheapy bins.
Yeah.
And as I was talking, the guy next to me was like, "I've heard that voice a lot." You're G.I. Joe. I'm like, yeah, okay. He then admitted very hilariously that we often kind of are what he listens to while he's nodding off to sleep. And I'm like, I don't know if I could take a compliment in that. It's like, okay, I suppose we're hypnotic in a way, but we're kind of a little bit too restful at times.
I think that makes you the Johnny Carson of the G.I. Joe community. Congratulations.
Better that than ASMR, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm putting it out into the universe. You're gonna make it with some help from your friends. How's the GoFundMe going? I mean, do we even ask that at this point?
Yeah, we're just slightly over halfway. So
amazing.
It's within reach. The stuff that I've got to fund is, of course, hotels and gas, and I need to do some routine maintenance on my car. I will be driving. That is something I did not do with my last road trip, and I should have. So lesson learned. But it's quite a long drive from here, and my expectation is that I'll also be bringing my daughter with me. So
I've got a question about that
trip into a couple days.
Which daughter are we talking about? Is this Beelzebub?
Yes, that one.
Will you be able to twist her arm into doing a classic HCC788 sketch?
I gotta. That's a really good idea.
I'm sure it's percolating, Brian.
She would be mortified, embarrassed, and that is exactly what dads are for. So I think.
And of course, she's a little bit older now, so she started to have a kind of a digital presence of her own. She's like, oh dear, people at school are gonna find out.
Yeah, I'll just find all of her friends from school on Facebook and private message them the links to everything. I just want to help her become popular at school.
Well, your viewers demand it. I want to see what happened, man. Didn't you make a deal with the devil or something?
That's right.
Wound up in hell.
Yes. That was.
When's she gonna collect?
We'll come up with something. I think we can work with that. Yeah.
Before we get any further, the real Aaron Collins, not the fake one. He slings us $5. Salute to you, HCC, Joburg, and the rest of my fellow Joes. All hail Sunbow. Okay, cool. We got a cartoon fan up in here. Paul, that's your speed, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
I've chewed the mic long enough. Gents, any memories you want to reflect on? Joefest, JoeCon? Talk to me, boys.
Yeah, hit us, Rob.
Well, I wish we could go to Joefest, but JoeCon was definitely an incredible experience. It definitely was a highlight, I think, of my entire life, being able to go to the States. It's a place I've always wanted to go. And it really, as I think I have said quite often, it felt like being in a movie the whole time I was there. It was like we were the main characters in the movie, and we were main characters. I mean, being recognized was absolutely amazing.
It's so meta, Rob.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like we were meta before the Matrix Resurrections came along. I mean, that's how crazy our lives are,
All right, Brian, here on G.I. Joburg, we like to answer the important questions in life. Picture the scene if you can. The urban battlefield, the concrete jungle, broken down brick walls, buildings, train yards, shacks. Cobra have deployed 4 very dangerous characters, customers, criminals, into the AO. They are none other than the Saw Viper, like the Saw Viper, the most lethal Cobra ever. Night Creeper, a Techno Viper inside a snake armor, and Night Viper, their sniper, I suppose, in low light conditions. Which 4 Joes do you pick to take these 4 criminals down?
Oh, okay. Which 4 Joes? Okay, we've got a Night Creeper who is a ninja. But they're not very good ninjas, so we don't necessarily need a ninja to counter him. I'm going to go with Quick Kick.
Wow, okay. Cool.
The Saw Viper, let's see. As soon as he opens up with that saw, he's going to give away his position. So I want, actually, I don't think I'm going to counter him with the machine gunner. I want a sniper to take some shots at his muzzle flashes. So I'm going to go with Low Light.
Nice.
Low Light could also take on the Night Viper, but he's
sniper battle at night
with the Saw Viper. So for the Night Viper, for the Night Viper, I think we do want a ninja, and I'm gonna go. Let's see. Let me think. Snake Eyes is too obvious. Let's go with. Let's see. Who's an alternate? No. Well, hold on. Not Storm Shadow. You
you might switch sides on you.
That's right.
How brainwashed he is.
He's just which as the wind blows, No, I am going to stick with Snake Eyes. I think this is an important mission. He only gets called on the important ones, so this is vital. So yeah, we're going to call up Snake Eyes, and the reason he's perfect to take on the Night Viper is because the Night Viper is going to assume that nobody can see him, that he can see everybody, and he's not going to account for somebody who can sneak past his night vision scanners. So I think we need a ninja for that. We need a black-clad ninja, and that leaves me with only one choice.
Are you going to go V1, keep him all black, or are you going to go ninja on you?
Let's go Ninja Force. Yeah, Ninja Force. Why not?
Ninja Force.
We're going to have.
There we go.
He'll use that what was that? What was his action feature called? I can't remember.
I wouldn't be able to tell you the name.
Raging Disappointment for Twitter.
Yeah.
Hey, that's version 3. That's the wrong kind.
Version 3 is an excellent one. But I think with the hubris of the Night Viper, I think Snake Eyes can afford to wear a little blue. It's fine. It'll work. And then I'm just going to have Bazooka take out the snake armor. So we're
nice. Excellent.
QED, job is done.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's shift the agenda to the classified series. Now, this is something that I am guilty of, actively avoiding in G.I. Joburg agendas because, what can I say, man? These are my guys, vintage dudes. So I'm going to twist my rubber arm and chat about the 6-inch fellas for a sec because, as far as I can tell, Hoodie, you are as vintage a stalwart as they come, and yet you've been won over, have you? What was it what was the straw that broke the camel's back? I was following your road trip, and it seemed like you picked up the movie figures. Mm-hmm. And was that where it started?
Well, I started with classified with the first wave. Really, I kind of caved in just because I wanted to support the brand, Mm-hmm. And I was really down on the idea of 6-inch figures when they were announced. I'm like, this is not a good idea, guys. They're going to be expensive. You're not going to be able to release a lot of them. You're not going to get perfection.
Because I remember the first time we ever chatted, we were speculating about the future of G.I. Joe, and you said the future of G.I. Joe is going to be as divorced from ARA as 12-inch was, as Adventure Team was from ARA. So the scaling perfectly dovetails with that point. It's like this is now sitting in the middle.
And the storyline has not diverged that much. We are still kind of in that universe. And, I'm probably wrong in that aspect because I think Hasbro is going to keep trying to monetize the more familiar characters and the basic general universe of it. But yeah, with 6-inch scale, you're looking at a completely different style of collecting. You're not going to be vehicle focused. I mean, you can have vehicles. They have some vehicles, but they're all going to be small. I didn't think that was a good idea. We've had 1/18 scale G.I. Joe for 40 years now, and your 25th anniversary figures, they don't all fit, but most of them will fit in your vintage vehicles. So you can blend them. You can't blend these. So I was really down on the idea. I just thought it was a terrible idea. I thought it was pandering to a certain sect of modern collectors that just bought a bunch of ephemera, some stuff to throw up on a shelf and collect dust. Then I got the first few of them, and I was like, "Damn it,
they got you."
These are actually pretty nice.
Cool, good.
There are some things that you can do at that scale that you just cannot do at the smaller scale. There are some things that you can do with the head and face sculpts, the articulation, just the accessories, and I mean, they're hit and miss. Some are much better than others, but overall, once you have them in hand, they're kind of cool.
Well, let's get specific. You are a longtime Breaker fan. He was your first guy. Breaker and the Ram, particularly, was like your ideal team up. When they released that box set, I assume you got it. You did a review, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And my friend Byron sent that to me, and I love it. The idea that like I'm not sure if Breaker is even a B-list character. In the comic books, he's dead.
He's a D-list character.
Yeah, D-list. But the idea that we could get a Breaker in 6-inch scale in with a Ram motorcycle is just like unthinkable, and yet here it is, and it's pretty good. And they didn't go weird with it, right? They didn't give him like silver armor boots or some crap like that. It's just Breaker, and it looks nice. It looks really good, and the Ram motorcycle updated but still remarkably faithful to the original. And just the fact that Hasbro has enough faith in G.I. Joe to go that far down the roster to dig up a Breaker, well, literally dig up Breaker, reanimate Breaker.
It feels like we are dictating where the line goes now, because the first gambit of this, the opening gambit of the classified line leaned very much toward that Fortnite feel and look. And it failed to capture the children's imaginations and their wallets, or their parents' wallets. So they are like all in on us old timers. Give us the classic designs, damn it.
And I think that's the way it's going to be probably for a while. Another one downside of that scale is that it is more expensive, and for a kid wanting to play with it, it's like okay, to have a handful of guys, I gotta like shell out $100. That's a lot to spend on a children's toy. And then when you have them in hand, they're beautiful. The joints are all tight. The detailing's all great. You have all these accessories, these micro accessories that are great for collectors. But you put that in a kid's hand, and it's going to instantly be lost in the seat of it won't even make it home. It's gone before it gets home. I think that's a downside of that scale, and why it probably will be collector focused rather than kid focused. I know they released some Snake Eyes movie figures and stuff that were more kid focused. I don't know that any kids ever bought them, but they did.
No kid watched the movie, so
yeah. At least those were in a lower price point, and a parent, if they were so inclined, could get that for a kid and not feel bad about it. So at least there were those. But for the classified series, I think those are going to be more collector driven. It's a good and bad thing. One good thing about it is that we're going to get some really cool stuff. We're going to get like Breaker on a Ram motorcycle. It's nuts.
And speaking about releases in the future, we've had Savannah announced, Tomax and Zaymot, Dusty, Stalker, Crimson Guard. What of those are ringing your bell? All of them?
Yeah.
Oh, honey, are you going to have the complete set? Every single number?
I have to get that Stalker at the least.
Yeah.
What do you suppose he's going to come with? I'm sure it'll be an upgrade. He won't just have the M32. He'll have some stuff, maybe a backpack even.
That would, Stalker with the backpack. That would be revolutionary. Stalker always kind of traveled light, so a backpack, cool. But I kind of hope they'll resist the temptation to do what they did with Snake Eyes and give him just like bunches of extra stuff that he can't carry anyway. That's not how Stalker rolls. He'll have what he needs for the mission. He's not going to weigh himself down with a bunch of extra stuff. So he's going to have his survival equipment. He's going to have submachine gun, knife, pistol. We're good. Beret, of course. But I kind of
removable.
Probably.
Removable? Oh, really? Because he's got quite close cropped hair, so that'll work nicely. Or he should. No dreadlocks. No dreadlocks.
Maybe an
I
alternate
like the
head for
dreadlock
Paul.
look, but I just don't think Stalker would grow out dreadlocks. He's army. He's got army in his DNA. His hair will be regulation until the day he dies.
I wonder if there'd be any notion to try and reach back into, like, I don't know, his Vietnam appearance. I know that's kind of like an aesthetic that the Classified series has straight up avoided. But in that squad, at least, he had the radio. So
yeah,
potential accessory there. I don't know.
That potentially, and maybe they could give him some version of his suppressed M16 with the Starlight scope from the Vietnam era. They have done removable suppressors and removable magazines. That would look really cool.
This would probably be too much of a deep cut because we know they've done away with file cards, but in the OG-13, he was the original medic. Like a little bag of, some tourniquets.
That would be
anything.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what they do with it. I'm really thrilled about it. Going back to the beret, though, I do want to say Hasbro, since Hasbro is definitely listening to us and they're on the edge of their seats, waiting for us to tell them what to do. Hasbro, those hats, the berets, whatever, anything, any headwear needs to be a softer plastic, man. That hard plastic does not hold on the heads well. Softer plastic, come on.
And maybe goggles that don't snap.
That would be, let's try that. Let's try that.
The Viper goggles tend to snap when you put them on the helmet. It's annoying.
For real.
Yeah.
Have there been any stinkers, Hoodie? Like any 6-inch figures that you wouldn't recommend?
Well, the Prophet Director Destro. I'm sorry. Was that your favorite? Is that
no? That's just my reaction. It's a Marmite figure. You either love him or you hate him. So yeah. Absolutely. He's just not Hoodie's favorite. No.
It's one of the things that, like, on the one hand, you kind of have to be a collector to even get the reference. So in one way, it's like a little nod to the longtime G.I. Joe collectors who would even know what that's supposed to be. So that's kind of cool. But like the original Pimp Daddy Destro figure was like garish and ugly. And so congratulations, you have given us an upscaled garish and ugly figure.
Oh, man.
Once
again, Paul, Rob, talk. Yeah, go for it.
No, I believe with the classified line, I mean, yes, they definitely are aimed at collectors, but I think they did announce news recently that they're actually planning on doing a value assortment for the classified line, which, I mean, are actually squarely aimed at kids. I mean, these are definitely not for collectors at this point.
They're going to be in open boxes with no windows.
Yeah.
So, there you go. I mean, chances are those weapons are not coming out.
Yeah, I think those are definitely attached to the characters. But I mean, it's interesting that they are investing more into the classified line to the point where they are actually properly aiming some of them at kids now. Or at least there's a version of the 6-inch figures that they're aiming at kids. So they definitely are like going very full force on the 6-inch line.
They can clog up the shelves with all the other 5 POA crap like that they're putting out there.
Like all the hundreds of Spider-Man that
Jeez, dude.
They always recommended at Christmas here.
And all the Power Rangers, and I mean currently at my Toys R Us it's Megazords and Power Rangers that are like this, that are sitting there dying slowly. It's sad.
Well, it's the start.
Cool. It's cool.
I mean,
it's a start.
Younger kids can get into this, and then eventually get them to be collectors, and they grab the actual proper ones.
Brian, check this out.
Hey.
We got a Cobra Pogo spotted.
Crap.
The leg just came off.
It's a great segue. That is a vehicle that at least could conceivably be done for the 6-inch scale. It's not too huge.
Oh, we got the Pogo Club. But this is a cunning segue on top of a segue, I guess, because they got
Many
this
segues.
pogo attacking G.I. Joe bases out in the African savannah. You've been tasked with taking it down. Which of the following items of equipment do you take with you? These are the 1987 and 1988 vehicle and motorized action packs. And courtesy of, I mean, these... shamelessly pulled them all from Form BX257's excellent video review of all of them. So these are your selections. Which of these pieces of equipment do you dare to take into the field?
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me think for a minute. This is a challenge. I'm thinking that we need transportation over land. So I would want the ATV and I forget what the little car thing is called, but that one.
Tank car.
The tank, yes.
Tank
I thought it was something
car.
like that.
The kiddie cart. The power wheels.
Yeah, so it's transportation, it beats walking. We need some air support, so let's take the little helicopter doohickey. And good Lord, we're not in an aquatic environment. We are. Let's see. What did you say the terrain was? What was the location?
Think like African savannah, so low shrub, a few
Fairly
bushes and
flat.
trees here and there, watering hole, maybe some distant mountains.
Probably won't need the rope crawler, but I'll take the anti-aircraft gun.
Nice.
It's small. Like one of the guys on the guy on the ATV can put it on his back. It'll be fine. And yeah, that's my best guess, man. These things are weird.
Okay, outside of the rope walker and the scuba pack, which do you suppose is the most useless?
Outside of the radar one, I guess. Well,
what? You don't think radar to be able to predict the pogo's movements? Hey,
just look at it; it's so bright.
Like the minesweeper could also be useful. I mean, you never know.
Somehow get that pogo hemmed in enough to like make it land on a what is it called, an anti-armor mine, as opposed to anti-personnel. Not that this thing has much armor anyway. I mean, honestly, I was playing with it now, and the leg just popped right off. Like, there's no good way to handle it.
You know what would have been cool is if the thing actually had like spring legs. Obviously, that would have been more expensive, but how cool would it have been if the legs were actually springy?
Yeah. Maybe at 6-inch scale, we can get all our dreams to come true.
That'll be the next G.I. Joe HasLab. Hasbro, next G.I. Joe HasLab, we need a classified 6-inch scale pogo with springy legs.
Okay, let's talk HasLab then. Brian, did you back it?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
Good boy. All right.
It's I understand why some people didn't, and I totally get it. But at the end of the day, I kind of do want the Sky Striker. I would like to see how it stacks up next to the vintage. What did they improve? What did they not improve? And when I get it someday in the far distant future, we'll do a side by side. We'll check it out. But the O-ring figures were also really intriguing to me. I think we will learn more about like which. What tooling Hasbro still has in their possession, and maybe which they don't. But
I got the impression, particularly because of the obvious Frankenjoying and kind of cost cutting that we see evident in the HasLab, that these are all new casts.
They could be. They could be. And
certainly in interviews with Lenny, I mean, he seemed to convey that point as well. There's very little left, so they are going to have to build this lineup and make minor improvements or adjustments here and there, but it'll still pass a kind of a lineup test. If you have the original and the new one, they'll look analogous.
This may be a way of funding the creation of some new tooling that they can use down the road for future figures. I don't know.
Boy, will they ever. I mean, if the 25th anniversary and then on into the modern era is anything to go by, absolutely. No tooling dollar is wasted. Like, there are very few totally unique from the ground up figures, if any. I mean, I'm sure every single tool that was manufactured was not a one-time use. I hope I'm expressing myself correctly.
Oddly, that does harken back to the early days of G.I. Joe when everything was Frankenstein. If they were doing that, though, my preference would have been for them to do something new then. You have a chance here to create a stock of tooling of parts that you can use down the road. And if it's cool to recreate the old parts because you can swap those around and make some new characters. But if you create something new, maybe something that's kind of general that can be adapted to a lot of things, then you have a chance of maybe having some new characters. They have a new character, but like something like really totally new. But they may not be thinking that way. They may be thinking like this is really a retro brand. We're not looking at expanding it. We're looking more at kind of giving you the something that's familiar. Even the new character, the co-pilot for the Sky Striker, is a callback to the Wayne Ruthel sticker on the Sky Striker. So it's still it's kind of new, but I think Mark Webber on What's on Joe Mind has said that he would really like to see them do something new. We haven't had like a new character in quite a while. Do something new. I think that
we lovingly call him Rave Viper, but the fellow who flags down the Rattlers, that guy, Cobra, what do they call him? Ground Crew. That's effectively a new Viper class.
Yeah, but still, it's not a new named character. It's not a new G.I. Joe. It's not a guy with a cool-looking new G.I. Joe with a code name. I don't know.
I think, honestly, maybe we'll see like a new odd like a co-pilot or a new Cobra with using the body of something else, but just color it blue.
Well, you couldn't have picked a more generic set of tools than Ripcord's basic outfit. So, that's why the arms, the legs, they're seeing use for the Cobra ground guy. Ketchup and mustard, if we ever see those guys.
Yeah. For the most part, though, if they bring O-Ring back, they will probably do what they usually do, and that is play the hits. We will probably, we'll get the usual 5 to 10 characters that they always release first. And I guess that's that they gotta do what people are familiar with. They gotta make their money. But maybe down the road we'll branch out a little bit. They've branched out a little bit with Classified. Maybe they'll branch out a little bit with O-Ring if O-Ring even comes back in a larger scale or a larger scope, which we don't know. We don't. That's not guaranteed.
All right, Paulie, fire a question away, brother. I'm sure you got something rattling around up there.
Well, I think we've gone on about classified stuff a bit for a while, so let's get into Hoodie. I know that you like to draw, and I was curious: have you ever designed any characters for the Joeverse for yourself when you've been drawing? Or maybe you have, and which is your favorite out of the characters that you've designed, like for yourself? Just
that's a really fun question. I not lately. I haven't lately created anything new, but back in the vintage era, back before my brother and I kind of grew out of collecting toys and playing with toys, we were creating our own characters. We were Frankensteining the figures together, painting them, making our own characters based on us. So, us as grown-up army guys. And we did like comic books and stuff related to that. So I used to draw like new characters all the time. And that was a lot of fun. That probably kept me involved with GI Joe for like a solid year out after I probably otherwise would have, moved away from it. And, I kind of missed that. And now that you mentioned that, it's been a long time. I think that's something I probably should try to do. I think that would be a lot of fun.
And then we pass it, up the chain, in terms of popular opinion. And then maybe, just maybe, it passes the eye of a Hasbro designer.
Yeah, see, they did a fan-created figure a few years back. So it's not an outside the... What's that?
Was the name Stiletto? Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. Yeah.
Oh yes. And at least via Full Force, we have almost a direct line to the design team. Good old Mr. Lenny Panzica, lovely guy. But I imagine Hasbro employees have to be quite guarded about where they make appearances and what they say. So even someone who wants to be as personable as him is kind of on a short leash. That's at least the impression that I get. But anything's possible.
That's right. What we need to do is do another GoFundMe to bribe the right people. And we can... Money talks. Money talks.
Money does indeed talk. We got a tally from Vagon. Hello, Vagon. So the new total... The total now is... Stephen... The total now is $1,031 raised of $2,000 goal, and I've just given a grant $50 because we got to get him there at GI Joburg. Yes, we do. We definitely have to get HCC there. Yeah, man.
Thank you, Vagon. And by the way, Vagon is also around. He's in the community and very active, and so it's always nice to see him. He's very active on Twitter, so it's nice to see him there. So thank you.
I didn't have to share this live stream. He did it for me. So once again, thank you, Justin. All right.
Just a small shout out quickly just to everybody in the comments. I mean, the comments have been coming through thick and fast. I think this episode is worth watching at least 2 or 3 times. You can listen to it in the car. You can watch the live version, and then you can watch it for the comments. The comments have been insanely cool. I keep wanting to pull one in, and I'm like, oh no, there's another good one. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna leave them. People can read them afterwards because there's just too much good stuff happening. So, guys, you've been seen. Just letting you know. Cool. Sorry, Steve. I walked over you then.
No. I'm going to move us on with another little quickfire round. Get HC's opinion on the following. You are Torpedo. You have successfully infiltrated a Cobra Undersea base. And you've rescued Admiral Keelhaul, Shipwreck, and Deep Six. You've set explosives. The timer is ticking down. But you need an escape strategy. You head down to the sub pen, where you find... a pair of Cobra Sea Rays. Let's say that the Sea Ray has a 2-person occupancy. So that the number crunchers out there don't stress out too much. Like, is Keelhaul hanging on the underside? Oh, no.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. So, okay.
You find a Cobra Bug, and rounding out the trio, the quartet, Cobra Hammerhead. Which one do you select, Torpedo?
Whew. Okay, so I'm Pedo, and I need to select... No, I'm not.
If you insist.
I'm Torpedo, and I need to select from the Bug, the Sea Ray, or the Hammerhead. And I think... You know what? I think we need the Hammerhead. I think the Bug, as well armed as it is going to be too slow, and we don't have enough people to man all the guns. So some of those guns are just not going to be helpful to us if we need to shoot our way out. The Hammerhead, also formidably armed, so I'm leaning that direction. The Sea Ray, the Sea Ray gives us an opportunity to escape by air, but somebody's going to have to ride in that back glider thing, and that's terrifying. I just rescued these guys. They're going to be traumatized. They're going to have the PTSD, and you're going to stick one of them on the back of there to ride on the outside where we're flying at 50,000 feet. I can't do that to him. So we're going with the Hammerhead. I like it.
Excellent.
I feel strong about that choice. That is my final answer.
So the Hammerhead has this modular design that all breaks apart. Who do you stick where? It's got a driving portion in the front. It's got a command sub on top. It's got 2 detachable attack subs. And then, hey, if you want to get really racy, maybe stick Deep 6 on one of those sleds on the kind of outer flanks.
Yeah, I think that's where Deep 6 goes. I'll drive.
Nice.
And let's see, who else do we have? General
Admiral Keelhaul.
Admiral
the
Keelhaul.
Main prize.
Let's see.
Cobra thought they'd gotten the most key personnel on the G.I. Joe naval force, but going to snatch him back.
Yeah, I think Keelhaul needs to be behind a gun. I think he can shoot.
Hell yeah.
And I as Torpedo will drive. Was that everybody?
The Shipwreck's going to be in the command sub then?
Yeah, well, all right, look, not everybody likes Shipwreck. So, if anybody has to be, he's going to have to stay behind and fight a rear guard action.
Nice. Suicide mission.
Goodbye, Shipwreck.
Oh, man. Excellent. Good times. Gentlemen, I'm going to leave Brian in the very capable hands of Paul and Rob because my kid's waking up. So I got to hand him off to my wife. So I'm going to bid you adieu for now. But I'll probably pop in a few minutes' time.
It's good to see you and talk to you, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Later, dudes.
Yeah, cool. It's the Rob and Paul show.
Indeed, it is.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, Steve got all the fun mission stuff out of the way. I was actually curious, and I know that we didn't fire this one to you before. This is a bit of a quick fire one. I know that we have spoken about classified, but actually no, this does actually relate to a question I've sent you before to check out. Is do you think like classified figures need vehicles? Do you think that do you think that's something that should exist in the classified line, or do you feel like it should be more figure focused, more character focused?
At that scale and at that price point, barring the 5 point of articulation bargain figures, I think that it's gonna be more character focused, and I think that's fine. I think that's good. Vehicles are cool. I love vehicles. I have some vehicles. I love me some vehicles, but I think that most people connect with the characters the most. And it's been stated that the original vintage line was primarily a vehicle line, and the figures were basically to support the vehicles. And that was great. That was really cool. That got us some really awesome vehicles. But at the 6-inch scale, that's really hard to do. Fortunately, at the same time they were giving us really cool vehicles, they were also making some really cool characters that were brought to life in the animated series, in the comic book, and they were given personalities, and we really connected with them. So now you can have a line that is focused on the figures, focused on the characters, and people will have that connection, and maybe won't expect to have as many vehicles. Having said that, we've gotten a couple small vehicles. I think if we get more, it'll be mostly about that scale. If we get anything larger, it'll be like at most the size of the Vamp. I think even a Hiss tank, even though it's not much bigger than a Vamp, it's big enough that it would be really expensive. I love me some vehicles, but I'm okay with classified focusing on the characters. And fortunately, we've got some great characters. We've got our scoops, and you got to give us a scoop. And
I don't know why we don't have one yet.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's taking too long.
Hasbro, since Hasbro is definitely watching, let's get the scoop in the lineup.
Let's do it in the next round. 2022. Make it scoops yet.
Make it so. And then
that allows them to expand the line to less combat-based stuff as well.
Yeah.
Something we talked about in the last episode, someone brought up, was what do you think of G.I. Joe moving in a less sort of sort of counter-terrorist direction. So someone brought up, like, what if they're more like an adventure team, where they go on adventures and essentially Cobra is kind of, trying to stop them from, from sort of exploring the world and discovering things and acquiring, I suppose, treasures or whatever the concept was. But what do you think of G.I. Joe? Is that a thing that you could see G.I. Joe doing, is moving away from being like more military focused and being more, I suppose, friendlier to a wider audience, I guess?
Maybe. I mean, obviously they've done it before, and I could see them maybe doing that. But like the Snake Eyes movie, for all of its flaws, still cast Cobra as a terrorist organization and still had G.I. Joe come in as kind of a counterterrorist. So apparently Hasbro still thinks that we're going with counterterrorism stuff. So, okay. But like I think probably the accommodationist in the community. I am fine with them going in a different direction. I would like to see something that appeals to a younger generation so that we can have new fans. I would really love to have a new generation of G.I. Joe fans with their own G.I. Joe that they enjoy and they love, and that may be in a different direction than what we are used to, and that's fine. I think there is, if there's one caveat that I would put on that, and is that G.I. Joe as a term refers to something outside of the toys. That is something that is a label for something that exists in the real world. So to call it G.I. Joe and to have it have no military aspect whatsoever, I think would be a little odd.
Yeah.
But we have seen G.I. Joe go really far, still having some core in, still at least having one foot in its military background, but still stretch far beyond that. So even if that wouldn't necessarily be what I would be interested in, I would still really like to see them hit on something that brings in new fans, brings in a new generation. And they can never take away my G.I. Joe. I already have it. It's, I had my run, and they can't ruin my childhood by daring to put out something that is different from what I remember. So I'm not that much of a stickler. But with the caveat that, with the label G.I. Joe having zero military aspect to it would seem a little bit odd.
Yeah, no, that's probably true. I mean, they obviously tried different things. I mean, there was the one TV series where they were like the A-team essentially.
Yeah,
it's still kind of militaristic, but it was definitely very different from what you're used to. At least the dynamic of G.I. Joe versus Cobra. So they've tried different things.
If you go back to the 70s, when they were doing Adventure Team, it was still G.I. Joe Adventure Team. It wasn't strictly military, but it still had a little bit of a military flavor with some weapons and some camouflage and stuff like that. When they completely left behind the military aspect and made the 8-inch line, and it's all sci-fi and everything, they didn't call it G.I. Joe. They called it Super Joe. So I think Hasbro is at least conscious of that. And if they're gonna if they're just gonna make something new, that they'll give it a new name. But I think there's a lot of room to stretch what you can put in G.I. Joe, and maybe hit on something that brings in people who just haven't looked at it before, and they don't know that this is something cool that they would be interested in, but maybe something can turn them on. And I would be fine with that. I would be okay with that. I just don't want our generation to be the last generation of G.I. Joe fans. And if there's going to be a next generation, then they've got to have their own thing. We had our own thing. Our G.I. Joe was not, downscaled Adventure Team or, downscaled Action Soldier. We got our own thing. So maybe the next generation should have its own thing. Although Hasbro, I think, is just if Hasbro reinterprets it, they'll still give us like some version of Real American Hero characters. That just seems to be what they do. Even when they did like Sigma 6, a lot of the characters they gave us were, you know, callbacks at least to Real American Hero characters. Even with G.I. Joe Extreme, we got some new characters. You know, it was a bit different, but we also had some callbacks to Real American Hero characters. So I think Hasbro is maybe just kind of still anchored to that. The last time the line was truly successful and, you know, was everywhere and popular, I think they still want to do something with that and really kind of revitalize it. And knock on wood, I hope they can. But there may need to be some thinking outside the box in order to really do that.
I mean, I'm grateful they're still focused on at least, you know, Real American Hero stuff, and that they are kind of at least trying to get back to O-rings now, it seems. So I'm hoping we get some nice new O-ring figures. Yeah, that'd make me very happy. Paul,
Yes.
what you thinking?
I with all of this talk of the Adventure Team and the old 12-inch Joes, I'm reminded of something. I did a second watch of Cobra Kai, and there's a section where Johnny's playing with G.I. Joes as a kid, and that was actually pretty cool. But I got a question about that because I was too young at that time to really know. But were the 12-inch Joes still that big? I mean, Johnny was what? I suppose that was in the 70s. So I think every kid had G.I. Joes.
Paul, it's in the name. 12 inches was 12 inches in the 60s, and it's still 12 inches today, I think.
No, I'm talking about like were kids still like...
No, they convert it to metric now. It's
12 centimeters. Lord, what's that?
No, like
no, I think I know what
inches is centimeters.
Yeah.
And like, well, I was born in 75, so he's probably just a little bit older than me. And it was not like, okay, I don't have like a total recall of, you know, of quite that far back. But from what I can remember, there was really no G.I. Joe presence before they hit in 1982. In fact, there was like everything but G.I. Joe because Star Wars had taken over everything. That I remember very clearly. I remember going into local toy shops and having like entire walls, floor to ceiling, with carded Star Wars figures, packed, you know, 20 deep. So that's what everything was as far as my earliest memory. But yeah, as far as if any of the 12-inch figures were still popular, you know, shortly before then, I don't recall, but certainly not before, at least not between like, what's my earliest memory? Jeez. Certainly not between like 79 and 82. I don't think there was anything, any consciousness of G.I. Joe at that time.
Right. No, because it was just such a cool.
I've jumped in only to say goodbye once again. Sorry, Paul, you can have all the microphone in the world, but I just wanted to say thank you, Hoodie. I was a bit abrupt earlier, but I'm back just to say thank you for joining us and all of the best with the GoFundMe, man.
Thank you, Stephen.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Thank you.
And a parting question, which I'll have to listen to on the radio. We know that you were on the ground floor with G.I. Joe in 82. And for the life of me, I don't think I've ever heard reference in any of your videos or chats to any of the imitators. Did you have the Core? Did you have Gung Ho? Did you have American Defense? Did you dabble in other lines? Or was it like G.I. Joe's my jam? What are these imitators? So, like I say, I'm going to have to jump off and listen to that one in post, but enjoy.
Yes, and we'll talk soon. Thank you for having me, and have a great night. We'll talk soon.
It, man. It's an absolute highlight and a great way to start off 2022, a year that has already taken so much. Bloody hell. Betty White, Sidney Poitier, and now Bob Saget. Oh my goodness. Anyways, Yo, Joburg, everybody, and thank you for everyone who joined us in the live chats. You guys rock.
Yeah, Joburg, Steve.
Cool.
Aye.
So yeah. So any core in your life?
Yeah, the answer is absolutely yes. So my family didn't have a lot of money, so I bought a lot of my toys myself by mowing lawns. I would earn money and get $20, and stuff was a lot cheaper back then. But like, I'd walk to a neighborhood store. There was a Kmart that wasn't too far away, and on the racks there would be GI Joe, and I'd usually get at least one of those. And but next to it you'd have the Core or American Defense or one of the other knockoffs, and they're not exactly the same. They're kind of built the same way, but for the price of maybe one or two GI Joes, there's like 5 of them. And I'm like, you know what? I need some bad guys to blow up. I am going to get those. And then when we started customizing figures, those parts came in really handy. They're not all compatible with GI Joe, but a lot of them are. So we could make like new characters that had non-GI Joe parts. You just had a greater variety of parts to use. So those were a lot of fun, and so cheap. When you walk by that on the shelf and you can like, all right, I've got a couple GI Joes. Let's see, I got a couple of GI Joes already, and I could get a third, or I could get 5 figures on this huge card. I'll take that. I did take that several times, and had a lot of fun with them. We mixed toy lines quite a bit back then. Not so much like GI Joe and Transformers, but we sometimes we'd have to have hostages. Cobra would take hostages, and often that would be like Princess Leia and Han Solo, and
the normal looking guys.
Yeah. We did mix and match quite a bit, and I still have a soft spot for the Core and the other knockoffs. I'm sure that infuriated the Hasbro executives at the time, and you know how important it is, the feelings of Hasbro executives. You know how that personally important that is to me. Despite that, though, we managed to pick up quite a few of those. I don't know if you guys had those. Did you have like the knockoffs as well?
Yeah, we had the Core.
We had the Core, yeah.
Did we have anything else, dude? I mean, I don't remember like.
I don't think so. I mean, the Core was the only knockoff that we had. Otherwise, we had just mainstream lines like Thundercats and He-Man. I definitely collected a whole bunch of those. And I think I think the Core was the only one that we got. I mean, and later on, there were all those ones like the ones that come with the vehicles. Now, the one that came with like the giant jet and those. What are they called? With 4 points of articulation, but that's more recent, the last decade or so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that Soldier Force stuff.
Soldier Force, yeah. So that's even more of a knockoff because they're worse because the vehicles are just terrible. I saw this jet in a shop recently. It was tiny. It was I mean, it's way smaller than this. I mean, I think it was just the front of like from here to here was the actual, and I was like, okay, that's not scaled right at all. No one can ever fly that.
It's not to scale. I've seen those. They're cheap though. They're cheap.
Yeah, no, it's super cheap.
Yeah. There was a lawsuit. Hasbro sued Chapmay when they released a line of 3 3/4-inch O-ring figures under the banner of Gung Ho, and that's they did not. Hasbro won that one. All right, you can create figures that look a lot like GI Joes and have the same, but we've got a guy called Gung Ho. I'm sorry, that's just the step too far. So Hasbro did sue them over that, but they were a lot of fun. There was a company called Gay Toys, no snickering, but they made like these silver plastic, like futuristic vehicles, like jets and cars and stuff. And it looked like something out of Tron. They were really cool, and they were inexpensive, and they were perfectly to scale with GI Joe. So we got a bunch of those too. And I don't think we ever had like all of Battle Force 2000. We didn't have all of them, but they were kind of like Battle Force 2000 vehicles. So we kind of just sort of mashed those up and made them the rest of Battle Force 2000. Yeah, there were some excellent knockoffs at the time, and for frugal gentlemen like myself, that was a bit handy. My brother and I had a friend that we played with a lot in the neighborhood, and we all were into GI Joe. So sometimes we would coordinate, like, okay, you get this, I'll get that, and then together we have like almost everything. So there were a lot of things that I played with at the time that weren't technically mine, but I still got to play with it because we would all play them together and have huge battles and everything. So to augment our forces, we brought in quite a few of the knockoffs.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I mean, we did the same in my playtime as a kid as well. Just mostly just core for the larger part. And I do take your point on the whole it being cheaper, because it's a few times I got quite a vivid memory of going to the store to go and get Cobra Commander, the Talking Battle Commanders one. And for us, that was like 50 Rand. And I confirmed this price, Steve, for when you're listening back to this. A guy I know, actually, his parents owned a toy shop, and he could confirm that price. It was 50 Rand. And that core 12 pack with the 12 core and the 2 bikes, that was about the same price. So I remember swinging that over and going, Dad, I could get this. Oh, you could get me this. That was
it's
cool
always more convincing when you can kind of show your parents like you're going to get a ton of stuff versus just one figure.
One thing.
And they're like, oh, that's really worth the money, bro. My little son is going to be good. You're going to get lots of playtime.
I have a question for you guys. I got a question for you. Did you have like mail away offers, and did you ever send away for anything?
I think we probably tried it, but I don't think it was something that was supported here. I know Stephen has mentioned before that he attempted to save up the little stubs or whatever and send them away, but I don't think we weren't covered in the regions. So I think usually when they do these things, I mean, even now, HasLab, America, Canada, maybe.
Yeah.
Did they cover Britain as well? I think I can't remember now.
I know there were some mail away, like some Action Force mail away offers. I think Grunt was a mail away figure in Action Force, but see, I'm always curious because that's a blind spot for me. I didn't get any of the mail away stuff. I can't remember why I didn't get any of the mail away stuff. I wanted it, but I didn't get any of it. So I'm always curious like other people's experience with that.
I think we probably would have loved to be able to do that. I mean, just the experience of sending away little stubs and being able to get essentially a free figure would have been absolutely amazing. But yeah, I think South Africa is just we just were never ever covered with that stuff. Usually we could kind of get lumped in with other countries. So like Europe, so we got tons of Action Force, but then of course we got tons of GI Joe stuff. It's just like kind of like a mishmash of whatever they were able to send down to us essentially. So I think probably it would cost too much to mail stuff to us.
Possibly, and then also don't forget that we had sanctions and stuff as well. So
that too.
Yeah.
So we kind of, I suppose, just whatever dropped off the Chinese boat as it went past on the way to America with the GI Joes is what we got.
So I think I'm gonna open up. I think for the next 2 or 3 minutes, I'm gonna open up questions to the audience and get them to ask a few things. So guys in the audience, I'm sure I've seen a few questions like whiz by. I'm not going to go through the literal tome of messages that have appeared. So if you guys have any burning questions for HCC, let us have it. But I am going to give you guys a chance to get your questions together, and I'm going to jump the boat a little bit on this. I just want to just do a small shout out just to say thank you to our patrons for helping us make all of this cool stuff possible. So, boom. there's our sexy, awesome Patreon honor roll.
Page 1.
Page 1. And then here's page
Panel
2
1.
with the new edition of Mark van Leeuwen. So
Welcome,
thank you, Mark
Mark.
van Leeuwen, for
Thank you
joining
so
the
much.
Boforth.
Yay.
You've been with us for a long time, but I see you've opted to put your name on the wall. So thank you very much. We really appreciate that kind of support. It's really cool of you guys. And yeah. So, I see some comments. So here we go. Let's start with Rob. Do you want to ask them? They're from, I think Renegade Biker 24. No, from Day Gone. Yeah, Day Gone's got a question. Rob, you can do the honors.
Okay, I'll do Dagon. Dagon is a very big supporter of mine. He was very encouraging in the chat. Thank you very much. So he's wondering, why have we not seen a Crazy Legs review from you?
Fair question. I'm getting to it. I really wanted to do Night Force legs because I love it, but I have kind of an informal rule that I try to review the first version of a figure before I review any subsequent versions. They don't have to be in order, but I try to do the first version first. And I think I was missing the stock for the rifle, that tiny little thing. But I think now is my recollection, and I might do both together because I just really enjoy seeing like version 1 side by side with version 2 Crazy Legs. I think that's awesome, and it'll give me an opportunity to talk about some of his comic book appearances, which were noteworthy. So yeah, I'm working on it. Dagon, I do intend to get that on the calendar as soon as possible. And now I think I can actually do it because I believe I have it complete now. I'm pretty sure.
Well, there we go. It's coming soon. Gussie Gordo wonders, is the Defiant booster better as a submarine?
Interesting. I could see it as a submarine. Kinda. It. Does it float? That's the question. Does it float? Has anybody ever heard that?
I guess we're going to find it. Steven's one is in his house, his parents' place, and he's quite far away from it. Maybe someone in the chat can test it out.
See what happens.
Brains Viper 84 wonders, have you seen the light and recognized that Cobra Law is badass?
The law firm of Cobra Law has made it very clear that I can't say anything bad about Cobra Law anymore. So they are great, and I salute our new snake-themed overlords.
Rob, do you want to do this one as well from Occam?
Yes. So Occam's curious. Have you heard anything from Form BX257? Are you guys in contact with each other? Do you know, is he gone for good? Is he coming back?
I don't know. And granted, I haven't reached out to him very much, but I haven't heard anything. Not a word. And in the past, like I could open a line of communication, and it might take him a little while to get back to me, but he would still get back to me. But I haven't heard a whisper from him. I really don't know. I assume that he is. I know that he had other interests. Maybe some of those other interests have kind of taken his time and attention. I don't know. But I'm a big fan of Kevin. I love his stuff. He is really the primary reason I got back into G.I. Joe as an adult. So I owe a lot to that guy. And he's a really sweet, nice person. He's just really kind and considerate, and I like him as a person as well. So I hope he's doing well. Since we are going to start ramping up Cobra Convergence, I will be reaching out to him more to see if he wants to be in. I would love it if he would do it, but Other than that, I really haven't heard a whisper from him. Not at all.
Well, I hope he does come back.
Yeah, it'll be cool to get him back. He's definitely a voice that's also missing in the Joeverse, in the Joe review verse, toy collecting, whatever's. Anyway, we miss Kevin. Renegade Biker 24 asks, "Hey HCC788, have you thought about getting a graphic design tablet with all of your drawings? I have too."
I haven't thought about getting one for myself. My daughter has a couple, one of which I know she doesn't use. I needed one, I'd probably just borrow that one. I've got to get back into my artwork. When I stepped away from doing reviews, I kind of stepped away from the artwork as well. There was a lot of things going on, and I was going through a thing where I felt like if I were to sit down and try to draw something, like absolutely nothing would come out. I just didn't have it in me, but I'm getting back to that. In fact, I owe some sketches to some people. And I do need to send the physical sketches to those people. However, that kind of graphic design tablet, some kind of electronic drawing tool would be really helpful for drawing the thumbnail images for videos. I used to do that on my phone, on like this. So like all of those thumbnails that you've seen on videos, they've been drawn on this. Like I have to zoom it in and draw really. So that's inconvenient. But that's what I would use it for, and God, that would be a lot easier than the way I had been doing it. So, but doing the title cards is not something I've quite gotten back to yet. But I'd like to get back to it because that was part of the fun for me. It was fun to kind of make a little drawing, just do something fun with the character. Sometimes I would play with that, like I did when I did the review of what was it, the Desert Apache. I thought it would be fun to kind of emphasize the small scale of it by putting Falcon in it, but like he's big and his arms are sticking out and his head's sticking out because the helicopter is so small. That was fun. I like doing stuff like that, and doing it on a tablet would be a heck of a lot easier than doing it on that. So yeah,
that's crazy that you made those all on your phone.
Yeah, it's like
that's actually quite impressive.
I may still have some. Let me see if I can.
That's wild.
Let's see. Here. Hold on. Show prep. That's what I need to do. So here's Red Ninja on my phone without all the text and the stuff. And what I used was there's this app called Sketch. It was produced by Sony and it's no longer supported now, but it was handy. It was a free app, and I just tablet would
be so much easier. I imagine Paul wouldn't draw things on his phone, would he?
No, but I'll tell you this much. When I started drawing digitally, when I had the opportunity, my first Wacom tablet had a drawing surface that was about like A6. It was really tiny. And then when I would save up. I mean, I was saving up, and I eventually bought my Wacom Intuos 4, and that thing was like my workhorse for like forever. In fact, I officially retired it last year. And then I bought a Huey on tablet, and that thing has been great. So yeah, man. And I used to draw on my DS. I had a little hacky app on DS, and I used to draw on my DS.
That's cool.
A tiny little screen. That was really cool. It was fun.
See, it is possible. It can be done.
I got a great one here from G7M9W. Hi, Hoodie, long-time watcher, first-time liver. If Hasbro Pulse makes another 3/4 inch 2-pack, which pair of figures would you like to see?
That's a really good question, and we can't do the obvious ones like Tomax and Zaymod because I think they're already doing those anyway. And like they've already done Flint and Lady J as separate figures, so that we can't do that one. Also, and thank you for watching the videos. I appreciate it very much. But that's a really intriguing question. I think we should do something like an enemies set, right? Two guys that are enemies that are opposed to each other, like back in the day when they did Voltar and who was it? Muskrat.
Voltar and Muskrat, or Voltar and Spearhead. I think it was.
Someone will correct us.
Yeah,
very
like
soon.
that, yeah.
Yeah, whichever one. I mean, they're supposed to be like mortal enemies, but they had like nothing to do with each other. That's weird. Well, we can do better than that. So it'll be like, oh no, I got it. Dr. Venom and Quinn.
Yes,
for fans of the comic book, those guys would be at each other's throat. If it's a matter of fisticuffs, obviously Quinn would win. But Dr. Venom is wily. He would have something up his sleeves. He would wait for the opportune moment and try to stab him in the back. That's Dr. Venom. I think that's my answer. I'm going to go with that. Mortal enemies, Venom, and Quinn. I like it. That's it.
And then the last one's yours, bud.
All right, last one. What was a nice one? I liked. There's too many questions.
I know, right?
This was a good one as well. Also from Dagon. So if you had one Joe to defend you in court, who would it be?
Oh, see,
Who would you choose?
Airborne is an attorney, but I don't know how good he is. Let's see. Geez, there may not be a lot of options. But it's Psych Out.
There we go.
In
That's
his
a good
briefcase,
choice.
he's gonna hide one of those low frequency scanner things. He's gonna subtly, persuade the judge and the jury to my side. They won't even know it. He's completely unqualified. We're going to have to forge some documents, okay? We're going to have to forge some documents to make him look like he's licensed to practice law. We can do that. As a special ops group, we can do that. But I think that's the answer. I think Airborne is the too obvious answer, but I don't know how good he is. That's my question. He never actually practiced. He passed the bar and he's like, screw this, I want to jump out of airplanes. So how good is he? I don't know. But Psycho?
I think Psycho's a good choice. Cheating.
Yeah, Psycho's a good choice.
Well, yeah. Hey, look, my goal is to go free. My goal is to win. So there.
That's brilliant.
Cool.
I love it.
Robbie, do you have anything else, my dude?
I think I'm good. You've answered the questions that I needed answered. I was really curious about like new directions of G.I. Joe, and get someone else's opinion on that to actually see is there consensus, because I do feel like the basis of G.I. Joe is counterterrorism. It's a military organization, and that's what they're about. They're about maybe not just Cobra but other terrorist organizations, but that's the basis of G.I. Joe. And if you kind of take that away, you're kind of taking something away from what G.I. Joe is.
And I think Hasbro seems to agree with you, because, like I said, they were kind of going in that direction. They were kind of leading that way with the Snake Eyes movies. But that's not to say that it can't have other aspects. It always has had aspects, but
you have the sub teams. There are sub teams that do specific things. With the Eco Force and all of that, you could definitely have sub teams again. They tried that in the 90s. Maybe they can reintroduce that now again, and try something different within the greater brand of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. Like I said, I have to give Hasbro some room to experiment. Not everything they try is going to work out, but they've got to have some space to try something. And obviously, the Snake Eyes movie didn't work out, but at least they seem to have some kind of vision for what they want to do. But I one thing that I don't have is the answer. I don't have the answer as like this is the thing that's really going to revitalize it. This is the thing that's going to turn on a lot of new fans. I don't know. I wish I did know, but that I have.
Well, we just got to keep it alive. We just keep talking about it. Keep showing up hopefully in people's search bars on YouTube randomly. So they're searching for Spider-Man review, and suddenly there's an HCC review of Scoop. Hopefully,
genius.
Cool. Okay, and I'm good. I'm actually worried if I keep asking questions, we're gonna go on for like 2 hours, and I know we all have a day that we have to go and.
I have more sleep to do. I actually don't sleep at all. It's too hot here.
So you just went straight through.
It's too hot here. I was just like, here I
am. Crazy. No, I ended up watching Idiocracy with Celia last night, and I just kind of passed out.
Okay.
Yeah, she hadn't seen it yet. I also, I'll save that for next episode. Cool. Hoodie, thank you so much for joining us on this, man. And I hope that it also helped a little bit to get you to Joefest. I'm very excited to seeing your Joefest content.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I have noticed that I've gotten some notices that a couple more people have contributed to the GoFundMe. Thank you to everyone who's done that. And it's really cool talking to you guys. I missed this. I missed watching your guys' show, listening to your podcast. I missed all of this. So I'm really happy to be doing it. I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. You have a great show. I try to catch every episode. I think I mentioned before that all of you, so any combination of who's on the show is cool with me because I like hearing from all of your perspectives. So I hope you will keep doing it, and you guys are great. You mean a lot to me, and I'm just thrilled to be here with you.
Oh, thank you very much. And guys, just a
we
reminder,
won't stop anytime soon.
If you want to help HCC788 get to Joefest, the link is in the description below. You can go and check out his GoFundMe and drop in a few dollars and get him to Joefest. As somebody who has been the recipient of that kind of goodwill and has gone to one of the best, or arguably the best convention in my life, and one of the best experiences of my life, probably the best, just like Rob's. Just take it from guys like us. It's an amazing thing. It's a great gift to give somebody. And let's get HCC to Joefest.
Thank you.
And with that, I think it's time for
Joburg. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you so much. Absolutely amazing. I mean, it's so cool that so many people joined in. It's absolutely amazing. I hope to see or hear everyone next time. Am I hearing people? No, I'm not. I'm hoping you join us next time.
Cool.